Today I'm going to be talking about gender. This comes in light because of what Target has done, and they removed the gender based signs, which are the females do this, or female toys here, male toys, or boy toys here. Boy toys, that's weird. And when I'm going to be comparing what gender meant to me when I was 10 and younger to when I got older and older as time progressed. When I was a kid, I wouldn't care about the signs. The signs didn't really mean anything to me other than, okay, the girls can play here and the boys can play here, but to me it didn't really matter because girls still went to the boys section anyways. So I thought, oh well, those signs really don't matter, and they really don't matter, and that it doesn't matter if they're there or not. And I didn't really notice that there was an unequal amount of boys to female representation when it comes to toys and when it comes to video games, especially in video games and in movies especially. It only But when you got older, you started to notice things. You started to notice how girls are and females are treated unequal, not because of what they do or anything like that. It's because of who they are, and partly because of what they do, but of who or of what their gender is. And when you got older, you start to question that. You start to question the logic of things. You start to question the logic of, do these words represent who a person is? Does it represent the complexity of what a person is? Gender labeling, female, you are a female, and you start to generalize things that girls cannot do sports, cannot do the same level of sports as a male can. But in actuality, sometimes they're able to. Not at the same level, maybe, but they are able to do the same sport. But it's a lot harder for females because of their structure, their physical structure that's different from males. Because, males have testosterone and they're able to produce it faster, a lot faster. And males are unable to do that. And this pro- promotes a problem because it's basically segregation, and then segregation based on something that they weren't able to choose, just like the skin color. No female nor male was able to choose their gender. When at birth, they were not able to choose who they are as a person, what they become, or what they came out as. I didn't choose to be a male. No one chose to be a female. No one chose to be what sexual orientation or gender or color they are. But people pretend that this is the same. People pretend that you're able to choose that even though you weren't. That your life is predetermined based on your gender. This came along from a long time ago, from the thought of a long time ago, when in the Middle Ages, queens weren't as seen as people who are in power. The males had the power over the women. This was a scene. This was seen in the Confucius belief in China, where the females are thought to be small and lesser than the males of the family. Even the son is more above than the female child, which doesn't which makes no sense. Even if the female child is firstborn, the male child is still higher on the hierarchy with them. This is also seen in India, and in the Middle East itself, even today, where females are seen as lower. That's why they have to wear veils and all that stuff, because of the religion, and they are seen as lower. Also in China, women had to do foot binding because males in China saw that as something that's amazing and beautiful. That's what they thought beautiful was. Foot binding is when they basically crush a woman's foot, like, and if you see pictures of that, that's horrible. And today, we don't see that anymore. Foot binding is illegal in China, but there are still problems in India and the Middle East for women. Inequality. If you think inequality in the United States is bad, inequality there is even worse. But here in the United States, women cannot gain the same amount of they cannot gain the same money equivalent to what they're doing. For example, if a male did the same job as a female, the male would would be more likely be paid more than the female. I don't know why this is, but I always wondered why, and I guess it's because of the thought from before, from history past, of what the other generations gave before us. Because you learn from who's older than you, and you see that what they're doing is more conservative thoughts, and that is that women are less than men. And to me, this isn't true. Women can should be paid the same as males. It's complicated, very complicated. The logic behind that is so fragile, so very fragile, and I hope that as time progresses, we are more progressive. Our generation, my generation, is more progressive than any other generation that came before us, and this would lead to change. The older people who are conservative will die out. That's what happens, and we will soon replace them, and we are progressive in nature. That means more equality, so I'm excited for that to happen. And you can tell that more change is coming just from Target doing this. What other change was there? There's a lot. Marriage inequality for gays, that's changing now. This became from gender to sexuality, but still. So yeah, and the equal inequality with women and males. For example, a male can go outside topless. No legal precedents, no cops stopping them or anything like that. But if a female does that, they are automatically stopped from just because they're females, not because they have breasts, not because it's indecent exposure. It's because what we've learned from before that is morally bad. But when males do it, that's not morally wrong. We both have breasts. These are breasts, even though they're not female breasts. These are still called breasts. In the in our anatomy, we don't call this male breasts, we call these breasts. So that's and then when it comes to hiring, when it comes to business, females are more like or males are more likely to get hired than females for God knows why. Is a male's brain able to have more memory, more are they able to be smarter than females? No. There are a lot of females out there that are a lot smarter than many males. There are a lot of female scientists. Well, not a lot, but still there are female scientists, female doctors, but males still pretend that females are not as smart as males, which will always boggle my mind when this is also false. What else is false? There's a lot of things that's false in thinking when it comes to gender. For example, or things that are illogical to what it's like now, to our thinking now. We've never had United States is one of the places in the first world countries that do not have a female president, or not does not have did not have a female leader until Hillary. Not really female leader, because other places don't have that as well. Erase that. We didn't have a lot of female representatives in the Congress and anywhere else until recently, less than 50 years until we got female representatives. That's ludicrous, because other places have had female representatives earlier than we did, which is weird because we are the bastion of democracy. If you say that this place is the bastion of democracy, then you cannot have something in unequal. It's preposterous. Then you cannot say that this is the bastion of democracy if you have something that is not equal. And another problem that this also stems from religion. Religion such as Christianity. I'm not saying that all Christians believe this. I'm just saying that there is a minor group of Christians that believe females are less than men because of what it says in the Bible. Even though it says that in the Bible, doesn't mean it's actually true, okay? I'm just saying. You can believe whatever you want, but do not use your belief to oppress people and dehumanize them and tell them what they can and cannot do. Do not use your belief to do that, please. That is annoying. because all in all, it's unscientific and based on opinions. That book is basically based on opinions if you want to go that far, but I'm not forcing you to change your beliefs or anything like that. So yeah, and when you were younger, you were used to playing with your toys, and when you would play with your sisters or a female toy, your parents would get mad at you, and you would always wonder why. You were like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not allowed to play this. Then that becomes hardwired to your mind. You're not allowed to play with female toys, and then when you get older, you realize that. You realize to yourself, you think to yourself, oh, I wasn't allowed to play female toys because they think that was wrong. How is that wrong? Just because we say toys when they're basically the same. The only difference is that we put a name before that. Female, male. They are just toys no matter how you put it. They are toys. Female movies for females and movies for males. No matter how you put it, they're still movies. Doesn't mean it doesn't matter if it's based for males. Females can watch it as well. Sure, the demographic for this movie is more geared towards male, but if a female wants to watch it, then you cannot judge her for that. That is retarded. I'm sorry, that is idiotic. That is illogical thinking in many ways. And if in a female movie if a movie is geared towards more females, if a male wants to watch it, then you cannot judge that person for that. So I'm just saying, anything